quickly as we can.
That's fair. So was this supposed to be a comedy?
No, it was not.
Are you sure? Because Simon and I laughed more for this movie than anything like in the last 4 movies that we've watched for this. Did you just give me the finger? Fuck you too, Joey. What the hell?
No, I was scratching my head.
He's like, I'm just scratching my head.
No, I did not like this movie. I'm telling you right now, there's a reason why it's the first time I've ever seen this movie start to finish.
Oh, man. Simon and I...
Go ahead, Ron.
Simon and I were watching it, and Simon's just like, "Is this a comedy? Did they make this a comedy?" And I'm like, no, but I could be wrong. They could have been trying for a new audience, in hopes that they'd find a new frontier.
I mean, I know we'll get into it, but apparently this one got pushed pretty quickly after the last one, pushed to be made, which that one came out, 86? This is 89. I mean, that's 3 years, but I don't know. I don't know. Chuck, you wanna give that intro?
Brothers, sisters, gender resistors, before we get started, it's important to understand that some people may think that Chris not being here makes him a coward. Joey, I am not one of those people. I don't consider Chris to be any sort of coward for not coming on, Joey, to review Star Trek V: The Final Frontier. I get it. He's a busy man. You know how many shows that guy does? Okay? And he's got like a family and kids.
And yeah,
okay.
True, yes.
I would never consider him a coward, Joey.
As it was
well documented prior to you clicking record, that there was conversation about how people could be considered cowards if they didn't show up for certain shows that they need to be brought on. Joey, okay.
Interestingly enough, I literally was just texting him before I sent the link to you, trying to set up the next Star Trek 6, the Undiscovered Country. So he actually mentioned, here's what he said. He said, because I asked him about coming on, and he's like, yeah, I'll be on because I don't know what Chuck is going to do, finding out I'm not on for 5. And then I said, I'm pretty sure we actually talked about it in last week's episode. So he'll hear it.
Listen, I get it. Chris, dude, I understand. No hard feelings on my end specifically to you. I don't know if you know this. Chris is my best friend. I would never say anything horrible or mean about him. Joey, prior to hitting the record button. But
the bad thing is that he'll hear this after he's on. No, well, hold on.
Maybe.
Yeah, he'll hear it at that Friday after this episode goes up.
Good.
Well, no, hold on. The Friday after he's on to record 6. There we go.
Right. I mean, that's fine. Listen, I'm just saying. Did he happen to say why he doesn't like this movie?
You know what? I'll ask him right now. I thought about asking him, hey, give me just your high level thoughts, and then I'll say it on the show, and then give me a score just for the hell of it. But I decided not to. But I will ask him right now why he doesn't like this movie.
Sure. I'm super curious why he didn't like it.
Who directed this movie?
Shatner.
It's very obvious that Shatner directed this movie when you find out that it was Shatner, because this feels like a Shatner movie.
He helped write the screenplay, I think, or he helped with something, and then obviously directing the movie. I was actually curious if they were going to wait, because normally director is kind of one of the first people that they say, usually after the credits and after the who's in the movie, they'll be directed by. At least I think. I could be wrong. I don't pay too much attention.
I think you're right. That's usually how it goes.
But this one, it was the very last one. Then again, now that I think about it, maybe a lot of them usually is the last one because they want it to be the last one. So you know what? Just forget. I had a very rough day today with knowledge things. Ron can attest at D&D. We all
All
were.
that
Today was a
All
rough day for D&D.
backyard wrestling you guys did. You got all that CTE. I'll do it. So hot take. I didn't hate this as much as I was expecting to.
This
Really?
may have been my favorite Star Trek movie we've watched so far
Yeah,
Really?
I mean, so like,
because it
But
was a
there's a-
comedy.
right, but there's reasons why I liked this a lot better, and that's because it.
Uhura getting naked.
Oh, I missed Uhura getting naked.
Well, she did a fan dance.
Yeah, she was. I don't think she was actually
Oh.
naked, but
Oh, I didn't. So also full disclaimer, I watched this while I was at work. So I was paying attention, but I was like half paying attention to it, which probably actually helped because if I had to put 100% of my focus into it, I could see where I would have hated it a lot more. But I like this because it kind of isn't like all the rest of the other movies, in that it is like very. How do I explain it? Okay, when a season, like we're in like later seasons of a show and everybody just becomes caricatures of each other, of themselves. I
Yeah,
always think
oh,
of
yeah.
like the Office. Like the Office at about halfway through, mainly the episode where Stanley has his heart attack from the fire drill that Dwight does. Everybody after that episode just becomes more of a caricature of the character that they're supposed to be. And that's what this felt like. But for some reason, it kind of worked. At least for me, this was kind of more made for me. But
Okay.
there were very specific things that happen where I'm just like, this is really fucking stupid. And now I kind of just don't care anymore. But now I'm just going to have fun with it. I went into it being like, it's not if Joey's going to get a strike. It's how many strikes Joey's going to get off one movie originally.
No, no. It's one strike per movie. You can't. We made that rule up so long ago.
And so originally I was thinking of giving you a strike and a half because of how bad you guys like prepped this for me. And now I'm kind of debating if you get a strike because I had enough fun with this movie.
And that's, you know what, end of the day, if you enjoyed the movie, that's the whole point of what we do here. Like I went and saw Until Dawn over the weekend. And while I've never played the game, the movie itself was fine. I would probably say perfectly fine. I had a good time with it. Is it one of the best video game movies ever made? No.
Yeah.
Was it a fun horror movie? Yeah. Like that was kind of cool. Like I think one of the bad things is majority of the stuff that they showed in the trailers, like the thing coming out of the one girl's cheek and the one guy like opening up like a splatter screen or whatever and walking into a dark thing. Like a lot of that was montage scenes that they showed real quick, but like the story that they told was actually fairly decent. This one, for this movie, for Star Trek V, in my opinion, didn't really have a story. And according to what I could find on IMDb, Shatner and Paramount kind of disagreed on a lot of the story elements. So Paramount, the company, obviously the company with the money, is going to be like, no, we don't like this part, take out this part. So like they were meddling into making this film short, their eyes, making it shorter so that they can have it in theaters longer.
We did have to wait
more time
until the last quarter of the movie to find out what Sybok. Sybok. I know it was one of those names that all of the other than Spock, all of the Vulcans are named Sy something.
No, you got Sarek and you've got
Sebek and whatever.
What was her name?
Savick.
And yeah, so like it's all good. All right, so so I got it from Chris. First off, he asked, he watched it, right? Then he said, I did
watch it.
I think he's baiting me to come on and explain.
No, no. I was just curious.
I said
From a Trekkie standpoint.
sure. I said, but I said yes to you watched it, but I also said that you liked it because it wasn't like the other movies, and that you may not be wrong in you trying to bait him. But then he'd actually just put here, bad sets. It's a rehash of the first movie, worse dialogue and plot than the past Star Trek movies. I feel Shatner just kept begging to direct, and this was a way to shut him up, to prove him wrong by handing this hot piece of garbage. So,
okay.
So here's what I'll say.
This was nothing like the first movie.
Well, it kind of is. It's like big floaty. They think they found God, and then it's like not.
Yeah, it's just somebody pretending to be God.
It's kind of 2 and 3 kind of smashed together.
Well, so there's a lot of plot lines going on that don't resolve itself. Like the whole Cybok, like talking to people and having them like accept their fear or whatever, and then once they do, they can be free of everything, and then just follow him. Like, where did that go? And all of a sudden, as soon as he dies, everybody goes back to the way they were, and they're following the captain. They're not trying to do anything wrong.
Very Vulcan mind trick.
Right, but the payoff to that was him getting control of the ship. Like, that was the payoff. I don't think it was a good one.
Yeah, but he was still doing it after, though. Like, even after he had the ship,
that's
did
because
it on McCoy.
Because he developed a habit. He developed a habit, so he didn't know how to not do it.
Okay.
When he does it on McCoy, okay, and his dad is calling him over there by his first name, he's like, Leonard.
Yeah.
Simon thought that Leonard Nimoy was still directing these movies, and he's like, stop making Star Trek movies.
Wow.
It was pretty funny.
I mean, honestly, after this movie came out, it was fairly close that it may not be this movie almost ended the filming, like the movie franchise. Because at this point, this is already season 2 of Next Generation is out. You know, is going on. Because apparently they actually had to use some sets from Next Generation on this movie.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
Because they didn't want to have to redo stuff. Here's my thought process of why, like, people who enjoy Star Trek the show probably didn't like this movie because it's nothing like the show.
I mean,
it's. I mean, which is a good thing, bad thing.
We got Kurt throwing around people, brawling during the middle of a phaser battle.
Basically having a WrestleMania in the bar. Yeah. That was kind of fun.
I did kind of enjoy that.
Also, was that cat thing that attacked him like allergic to water or something? Because all he did was threw her in there and she died.
Yeah, I was curious if she actually died because she definitely wasn't moving. But I don't know. I have when we get to the kill count, I've got one that I don't know why I separated it. I can't remember why exactly I separated possible deaths and then actual deaths.
Okay.
If we're going with possible deaths and actual deaths, right at the beginning of the movie, Kurt would have been absolutely Gwen Stacy when Spock caught his leg.
That's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Smash his skull into the ground.
Yeah, 100%.
I think the most egregiously upsetting thing about this movie was the rocket boots.
Yeah.
Those were the most absurdly stupid thing I'd ever seen.
When they're going up the ladder at the end of the movie, and Kurt goes to step onto the boots with Spock, Simon and I looked at each other at the same time. We're like, it'd be funny if that shut him off. Like he actually hit a button on him and stepped on it and just shut him off and they dropped. But, you know, it didn't happen.
Did not. Although I did laugh when once Bones hopped on it, they start going down. When they start going back up, once they boost the power, it goes levels 35, 52, 64, 52, 74.
64. Yeah, Simon and I noticed the same thing. They had to do a loop to slow down.
Something. But also apparently that is canonically wrong. when you're going up on the starship, the numbers are supposed to go down. So
Yeah,
they
correct.
should have been
It's like,
going like lesser numbers. But yeah, anyway.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
Also, I believe now I should have started this after the first movie that we watched of Star Trek, but we should have a drinking game where every time Spock says "I don't understand," you have to take a drink, and every time McCoy is racist, we also have to take a drink.
we'd be
Yeah,
drunk.
McCoy was not
He was
even trying
letting
to
his
hide it
boomer
anymore.
show in this
Yeah, he was not
Like-
even trying to hide it anymore.
movie.
It was pretty bad.
It was rough. And did he seem grumpier in this movie than like?
So I don't know when this scene was filmed, but the scene with McCoy's dad dying, apparently DeForest Kelly had something similar with his dad. So after that scene in particular, he like secluded himself from the rest of the crew. He's just like, no, fuck all this, kind of. Yeah. So, which I get. Like, I know after my dad died, I was like, I don't want to do anything with cancer for a while. There was a couple of like comics that one in particular that I was really interested in by Ryan Parrott, one of the guys we met at C2E2, called The Infernals, where it is the Antichrist is dying from cancer, and so he's trying to prepare his children to take over. And I'm like, that sounds like a great concept, but I'm going to wait until to read this because my dad's dying of cancer. So
That's
it actually is a really good book. I actually read that. That was what I read on the train there and back from C2E2.
Oh, nice. Another question. We start off the movie on this desert planet of
Nimbus 3.
There we go. Why was Gor the God Butcher
It was
there?
Dune. Yo, I said the same fucking thing. I was like, all right, so the movie opens with Gor the God Butcher being chased down by the dude from Dune. All right. Yeah, that was and Gor the God Butcher has a gun, which he's not allowed to have.
Yeah, and then they all
He
had
shoots
guns.
rocks.
Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, I'm sure they all had these homemade guns out in the so here's the thing.
It didn't
Nimbus
make any sense.
3,
How are they shooting rocks? That's
they
not
had
how
air canisters.
That's not how propulsion works. They would have never hit anything with those.
I did find it funny that they sent them to have a planet of peace, and that planet just happens to be a desert planet, which does not that's not habitable.
Yeah, I think it was supposed to be a neutral planet, which is why, because it's similar to, I make this joke I talk about all the time, but Futurama makes a lot of Star Trek jokes. So I believe there's a planet there, Nimbus 12 or something like that is supposed to be a neutral planet. And so it's similar. I don't know. They're not supposed to actually have sides, so that's why this is supposed to be a peaceful planet.
So Talbot, the guy from the Federation that was there,
yeah,
that's the professor from Ninja Turtles 2.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
it was his voice that gave it away before his face gave it away.
I was like, not his face, pretty sure his face.
Also, is the Enterprise the only ship in Starfleet that ever gets any kind of
attention? Yeah.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, half our ship's broken down. It doesn't work. We can't hardly go anywhere. And they're like, well, you're the closest ship.
That's what I didn't get. They are specifically working on the ship. They tore the ship up. They're on leave. Everybody's gone. And they're like, yeah, you guys need to come back and take care of this problem.
Well, you guys are the closest. Everybody else called not dibs, so. Or do you think that they're actually just trying to get rid of them, so they keep throwing them into these dangerous situations, hoping that that whole crew will die and not make the rest of the Federation look, bad, and then they just keep surviving miraculously?
If they could have gotten rid of Kirk a long time ago, a lot of their problems wouldn't have happened. So it's quite possible they're trying to get rid of Kirk.
Also, do you think that the movies always have a problem with the ship? so they can make the budget lower on the movies, like the doors not automatically opening and not having to use the teleporters and all that shit.
Oh, I mean, look, maybe we're gonna get a lot of stuff though in the next episode.
Are we?
6, though.
And
then
another thing,
from that point on, we're gonna have next generation money.
oh, I guess that's true. But anytime the spaceships were flying anywhere, this may have been, other than the first movie, the worst movie for the stop motion that they do for the ships and stuff.
Oh man!
And then when they're arriving on Nimbus at the Peaceful Palace or whatever the hell it was called, the bar that they were going to.
Yeah,
that outside, that was just like a painting that they put into the picture, right? Because that did not look like anything even remotely realistic.
They were shooting at the Mojave Desert.
No. I mean, like when they're
quite possible they had something in the background.
Well, no, I mean not when they were at the place, but like when they were going to it and it showed the picture of it, like from a distance.
Oh, maybe I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, it looked so god awful. Like it looked like somebody had drawn it up there with crayons and markers.
While I was watching this movie, there was at one point I actually was in the middle of texting Chris about the Switch 2, because I think I watched it like the day after the Switch 2 went live. And so instead of actually stopping the movie and paying, then texting, I just kept the movie going and kept texting. So
I mean, that's fair. That's a standard.
I probably missed some stuff. Oh, and Chuck, Chris, he does enjoy being the new inside joke on every one of these episodes. Actually, on every episode, because you bring him up every time.
Well, yeah, he's my best friend. Didn't you know that, Joe?
I did know that. You said that at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, Chris and I are best friends. A lot of people don't know
that. I definitely. So obviously, we talked about Kirk.
I would never call him a coward. Is my point.
Look, those words have never left my mouth in that sort of iteration.
You're absolutely correct. You have never said on this show while it was recording that he was a coward for not showing up. I get it. Yeah.
So
Ron can attest. Ron can attest.
I have never once heard Joey say that on the show.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. While it was recording.
So we talked about Kirk almost dying, should have died. I have written down like Kirk pretending to be Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible was kind of dumb. Him just climbing that without any safety gear. Because definitely like the Kirk that we saw last episode, in episode 4, definitely would not have been doing all that. But
he was not even in shape enough to climb that high. He would have died. He would have died 4 seconds into that climb.
Especially when he starts climbing the ladder at the end of the movie and he gets up like 7 rungs and he's like, okay, Spock, come and get me.
Oh, now okay, I'm looking over my notes. Now I remember why I have separate kill counts. So at the palace, the bar, whatever, when they are trying to get in to get all the delegates, which it was a delegate from Earth, a delegate from Romulus, a Romulan delegate, and a Klingon delegate. Did that Klingon look like Ron Jeremy? Anybody else?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But while they are sneaking in to go get them, and Chekhov is trying to distract Cybok, pretending he's the captain, they're attacking all of Cybok's guys. And like at one point, Kirk slams his hand into one guy's nose, which pretty sure may have killed him, but I think the guy was still like moving around afterwards. Not entirely sure. But then, yeah, I have that. So a bunch of people dying there, either being shot by something or thrown into something. We talked about the cat lady, Kirk just WWEing her outside of the ring.
Yeah, that was her just dying in the water.
Yeah, maybe.
Well,
possibly.
She's a cat. They don't like water.
They don't die in water though. They
tell that to Jaguars, man.
Yeah, Tell
Jaguars
that to
love the
my
water.
tell that to my cat Rhonda, who
Yeah,
drowned
okay.
in the tub.
Oh, did not know that. Sorry.
Why would you drown your cat in the tub, Chuck? That's a little weird.
I did not drown the cat in the tub. The tub had water in it, and nobody was home, and she jumped in the tub
And couldn't get back out.
and couldn't get back out and drowned. It was very sad. She was very fat, and she kind of sunk.
I'm not laughing. I'm laughing at the pet where you're just like, she was very fat. Like that was the only thing we needed to know was why she couldn't get out of the tub because
she
she
was-
couldn't lift herself up over the side. How did she
Yep.
get it in the first place?
She could jump up into it, but she was fat and then also had short legs, so she couldn't touch the bottom. But the tub is like high, so she, I guess, couldn't jump out. But yeah, it was really sad. So they
Sorry
can
about
die in water.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's because your cat was fat and could not get out. This one was obviously in peak physical shape because she attacked Kirk and was holding on to him for like 45 minutes.
Yeah, but she had 3 boobs, so
It
she
was like
probably
the equivalent of
couldn't
like
get 'em out.
when a Muppet attacks a human being, and just like the person has to like act as if the Muppet is holding on. You know what I mean? And they violently flail around. It was very strange.
Like when Chucky attacks people.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I've got written down why was Bones on the rescue mission. Didn't need to be on there.
Right? What the way that they had the team set up, it was like, okay, these are the 3 people we're paying the most money, so we're going to put them in as many shots as possible for as long as we can.
I mean, kinda.
Well, they had to like be Bones is wait, which one's Bones? Bones is the
Dr.
engineer.
McCoy. He's doctor.
Oh, Doctor. Okay, I always confuse him and Scotty.
That's fair.
So I always think Bones is Scotty. But he's there because he's sad and alone and doesn't know how to do anything without fucking somebody like with Kirk. Like
Maybe
he
it's because
hates
maybe-
Kirk and Spock, but they're literally his only
What-
friends.
what if they have to send them out with Kirk and Spock because he's so racist he can't be around Uhura or Chekhov or
Sulu
Sulu
or Scotty.
or Scotty?
I mean,
yeah,
you're not wrong. He literally doesn't interact with any of them. He only talks
Oosh, that is true. Holy crap!
to Kirk and Spock, and when he talks to Spock, he's super fucking racist.
you know, now that you said that, I don't think other than talking to Spock's brother, I don't think he did talk to anybody else, did he?
I don't think he did.
He doesn't.
Oh man, that's like Tommy on the Power Rangers not knowing anybody's name.
That's what I'm saying. He definitely knew nobody's name in that movie. He forgot Rocco. What's going on, Rocco? Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't think about that.
Oh man, we just opened up a whole can of worms.
And
If these movies were so bad, I'd go back and see if he ever talked to anybody in the other ones.
I am kind of curious now.
He talks to Spock, but he's like overly like goes out of his way to start shit with Spock a lot of the time.
So, okay, about that. So at the campfire, very beginning, when Spock is cooking a marshmallow,
Yeah, yeah.
according to the IMDb, in the novelization, McCoy like bribed a technician to change marshmallow in the hold on. I don't think I can find it, but he basically bribed the technician to change the word marshmallow in the database to marshmallow because he knew that they're going to go camping and Spock was going to research everything he can about that custom. So when he says marshmallow, Kirk and McCoy are like silently laughing and they're like making fun of him, which is why later on Kirk brings up the marshmallow again. I can't remember when, like toward the end of the movie. But yeah, he's purposely picking on Spock. He's a racist. He hates him. Terrible.
Yep. I mean,
But
we've established that over 5 movies now.
Right, but like it's getting to the point where like he hates him so much and he's so focused on just Spock and ignores and doesn't interact with anybody else that it's like when super homophobic people can only focus on gay men
So
because
you're
they
saying he's
themselves
actually?
are gay.
I say you're
So
saying he's actually in love with Spock.
I think he's actually like in love with Spock,
That
which
makes
is
sense.
where the love triangle comes in, because I'm pretty sure Kirk tries to fuck Spock this entire movie. The only interaction that Kirk has is with Spock, and they get kind of weird with each other.
Like when they're in the Klingon ship, and he's like, "Sir, not in front of the Klingons."
Yeah. The only other thing that he tries
Dialogue taken
to
that context.
the only other thing that he tries to fuck in this movie is his own ship, which he gets super possessive over when not God is like, yo, give me your ship.
I want to get inside your ship, and he's like, "I'm the only one that gets inside my ship."
I do find it interesting. We got to the God part of it all. So like he is on board finally at the end with Cybok to go see God once they get to that planet, and but like he says, God is a very busy man. We shouldn't keep him waiting. But then they all go change. Literally, all four of them go change. But God's a busy man.
I mean, he said that. I think the way I took that was he said that jokingly.
Yeah, I thought
he did.
Yeah,
he did. I 100% know that, but I find it funny that he's saying that, and then they all go change because they need to have a different costume.
The thing that I loved about that whole like thing, right, is like everybody believes that this is God except for Kirk.
Yeah,
but Kirk doesn't give a shit. He just kind of wants to like get this over with, so he can leave. Until like not God is just like, yeah, I'm gonna need your ship so I can like send my message as a vessel. And then Kirk is like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Do you know how many people? Do you know random people I had to kill to get my shit back?
Yeah, like I was like, I didn't give a shit, but now because this directly affects me, I'm going to make this like the biggest fucking deal in the world. Like,
well, but he also does
such a fucking like type like textbook narcissist.
Yes,
it's like this
correct.
Doesn't mean any, like everybody else is like having essentially this like religious experience. Like they're having their coming to God moment literally, and he's just like, I could not care. What? I'm sorry, you want my ship? Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to convince Klingons to show up and shoot you with a fucking missile.
Actually, that was Spock.
That was his boyfriend, Spock.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it was Kirk's
again,
idea to begin with.
Well, I mean, it wasn't. I think Kirk was gonna go down with his.
No, he's a narcissist. He'll figure out a way to claim that it was his idea.
That's good.
There you go.
Yeah.
What's also really interesting is that we see Spock basically broker a peace deal with the Klingons off screen. Like all of a sudden, oh yeah, here we go. Now we got the Klingons on our side.
Also, if there's one thing to be mad about in this movie, it's the utter like character assassination of Klingons.
Yeah, they made them dumb as fuck.
They made them like they're supposed to be this like actually really smart, strategic, like military like race, and they look like a bunch of buffoons who then are just like, yeah, you know what, Kirk's not actually that bad. And it's like
we have a blood feud with him, but we don't hate him that much.
Wait till next movie because they actually, I really enjoy 6. Like when we'll get to it, and I think I've got a good feeling you guys might actually like that because it actually has a really decent story.
When's the last time you watched it though?
It's been
1 week.
No. I'm trying to remember if I did watch it in the hospital with Dad or not. I don't think I did because he went through all 6 movies. I think one day because he was laid up in the hospital bed. What else is he gonna do? So I think he is also one of those things where he knew he was going. It's like, I'm gonna watch that I enjoy.
I would say, why would you put him through that kind of torture before?
Yeah, why would you make him watch this one?
He wanted that. He likes these movies.
He likes this movie. He likes 5.
I mean, I can't ask him. He's gone. So
hey, that's not true. We got a Ouija board.
I'm not touching that shit. The one thing I don't do.
But he was never like at any point. He was just like, Listen, I love Star Trek. It's the best thing in the world.
I think
But
he was
but
like,
5 is awful.
I think he was a little like less on 5, if I'm being honest. Because I mean, like, what
Which
Chris,
is wild because I'm pretty sure this is my favorite of them we've watched so far.
and that's what's really bonkers is that the both of you are sitting here saying that you
know
both
what?
enjoyed it.
Hey,
And I'm just like, I'm not.
when you have a comedy where they don't know that they're in a comedy, it's just that much better. Except for Scotty. Scotty knew he was in a comedy.
Well, Scotty's always in a comedy though.
Exactly. Blowing up the hole, telling them to stand back. Then when he's like, I know this ship like the back of my hand, then literally knocks himself out walking through his own ship.
Yeah.
The fact that he doesn't take any hints that Uhura wants to fuck him real bad.
Oh no, he took the hint. He's like, I can't right now. Which is like missed opportunity, my dude.
Well, at this point, is he the last one that hasn't slept with her? Because I feel like she takes a periodically, like, takes a run through everybody between the show and the movies.
No, I think in the show, I know she makes out with Kirk.
Yeah,
because that was the whole first interracial kiss on TV.
Yeah, did he? Is he the one that directed that one too, or?
I don't think so, but I wouldn't be surprised. But I don't think she had any other relationships with any of the other crews in the movie.
She didn't make out with Chekhov. I mean, I felt like she was vibing with Chekhov in the last one.
I mean, she might have. Well, they were on their mission together.
Right. Trauma brings people together, Joe.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
They could have been banging in the nuclear
Wessel
style. Yeah.
Wessel.
Nuclear Wessel.
So, I didn't know that Vulcan death grips worked on horses.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
Like, and is it just me, or is he getting sloppier and sloppier with the death grip as the movie?
Yo, he is so checked out. Yeah,
well,
he just doesn't even care.
Well, I mean, a horse, like, where do you pitch it, right?
Neck,
like,
same place.
Okay, but the guy long neck. Where...
Sure, but he looks like he's going to pet it, and then the horse just falls over and dies.
Yeah.
It's like periodically throughout his career, John Cena just gets lazier and lazier with the 5-knuckle shuffle. That like he just did, like, you could tell like he was just going through the motions and he didn't care, but he had to hit it because it was part of his comeback. And that's kind of what this has become for Spock. It's just like, all right, I gotta fucking shut this guy down. Pinch dead. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Because yeah. I don't know. But bringing up Uhura, the scene with her doing her feather dance. Apparently, Nichelle Nichols actually did a lot of belly dancing, so that was actually her dancing, and apparently she was also singing too. But then they dubbed over her voice, so that wasn't actually her singing in this movie, which is
she was actually like a singer because she released an album.
Yeah. They dubbed over, they dubbed over her voice without her permission, so she was not happy whatsoever.
Oh, that's fucked.
Yeah. But this is company.
It is Paramount.
Do I have here? Oh, I talked about Cyborg being dead, and now everybody is released, which is weird, but here we are. Oh, and then so when he is talking to people and Cyborg, that is, and having them relive their past or let go of their fears, nothing. It's fine. But then when he does it to McCoy and Spock, everybody gets to see their past. Like, what was up with that?
Maybe that's what he was doing the whole time.
But
maybe he's using his special Vulcan powers to.
I don't think Vulcans actually have powers.
They definitely have powers. They do all kinds of like weird mind melding shit. I mean, you're right. It doesn't make sense for everybody else to be able to see what they're seeing, though.
Yeah,
it should just be in their head.
Because when it first happened to McCoy, I'm like, are Spock and Kirk actually seeing this? And then it happens to Spock, and then Kirk like actually steps away and is like, "What's going on here?" So it got me a little confused.
Well, I guess I could understand it outside of Kurt, maybe, because I don't remember the order of operations there. But like, if it's all like a hive mind situation where like everybody that he's linked with that essentially becomes his followers and stuff, could then all see the same visions that he sees as a way to like bond everyone.
Hmm.
And he's like he's the like hive mind.
That just reminded me of Sinner. Have you seen Sinners yet, Chuck?
No, don't ruin it for me. I want to go see it
Dude,
this
so
weekend.
good, so good. Go watch it.
There
There is a post credit scene. There's a mid credit scene and a post credit scene. I didn't know about the post credit scene.
Oh, damn! That like totally actually like is the end of the movie. I was told.
Well, the mid credit scene is the end of the movie.
Oh, okay.
The post credit scene is. I heard what it is. So, like, I'm not saying it's important or not, but
I listen. I don't know why people get up during the credits because that's just silly. Like, stay anyway.
Yep.
Even if you know, just stay to the end. Show the respect to everybody that was in the movie by seeing their name scroll past.
That's fair. That's
right. So, the biggest gripe I have with this movie
was it them sleeping at a campfire with the fire still going?
No, actually, I didn't even give a shit about that. Let them burn. But
no, not the forest because they would also take out the forest.
The forest could still burn too.
No, we don't want that.
No, the forest is McCoy's real name.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Anyways, no, when they would talk, any scene that they were talking at, like I had to turn my volume all the way up to like 50 to hear what they were saying. And then as soon as any kind of special effect noise or action or anything would happen, it was like blaring out of my screen.
Would you watch this on by chance?
Paramount?
Okay, I didn't know if you had Paramount or not. Okay. Because I mean I did too, and I did have an issue.
I watched mine specifically on my phone and I had headphones on, so I didn't have a problem, but
I also have subtitles on, so I was
fine. I mean, I had subtitles on too, but I still like to be able to hear what's going on.
Well, sure. And I didn't have any issue. So
it was so much of a difference between them talking and when anything would happen. It was insane. Well, maybe it was just mine. Were you watching it on your PlayStation?
Yeah.
Oh.
On my TV, but I also have a sound bar.
Yeah, mine's just the TV.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe that's fine.
I don't know, but it was annoying the piss out of me because I had to keep changing the sound on them.
Which is fair. So I've got what was Shatner's first outline for this story. It was originally titled An Act of Love, and many of its elements, the Yosemite vacation, because they're at Yosemite National Park at the very beginning, the abduction of Klingon, human, and Romulan hostages on the failed Paradise planet, survived to the final film. In Shatner's early draft, Kirk is overwhelmed by Zar, who was the original name for Sybok. So they changed Zar to Sybok. Zar's superior numbers of followers and Spock, McCoy, and the rest of the Enterprise crew come to believe in Zar's divinity. Kirk feigns acceptance of Zar's beliefs to travel with him to the God planet, which to Shatner would be a desolate, fiery waste. When Kirk confronts God, the image of the being transforms into that of Satan, and Kirk, Spock, and McCoy separate in their escape. Kirk eludes capture, but goes back to save his friends from being carried away to hell.
Wow, he really was all about himself, wasn't he?
Of course. There was also a whole another thing I read in here where when the battle between Kirk and God was actually supposed to be a lot bigger, to the point where like the whole ground opens up and he's basically falling into Dante's Inferno and he fights a bunch of like rock monsters, which
Okay.
apparently they actually had suits made, but Paramount's like, yeah, that's too much money, so we're gonna scrap all that. So that's why they got rid of all that, and that's why we had the battle,
The laser
with
blasts.
God, at the end.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah.
really bad. I like the way they did this a lot better than a rock monster falling fight. I wonder why he wanted to go so heavily religious in something like I think I liked, again, we kind of touched on it. I like this because it's not a Star Trek movie and they do kind of do a lot of different stuff in it. But it is also kind of strange that like they all of a sudden want to go heavy religious in something that doesn't. The only religion we ever really see is Spock's.
So
Well, that's not true. McCoy is always talking about God.
that's true.
Well, that's true.
Apparently, according to
I remember commenting on that because I was like, why would in the
23rd century,
yeah, why that long from now would anybody still believe in Christianity?
well, they never actually say Christianity God. They just said God.
Yeah, they don't ever refer to it as Christianity. We just assume.
I mean, I guess that's true. But also, why would they
also-
believe in any kind of deity?
That, well, I mean, every race has. Look at like the Egyptians. They had multiple deities, So like having races.
They were also, uneducated. Well, I mean, they weren't uneducated, but they weren't, they had no idea of how the world worked back then.
You're not wrong on that one.
I mean, granted, people still don't today.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that hasn't changed
Hashtag
much.
flat Earth. Oh.
Apparently, Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, there were multiple times in the original series that he tried to incorporate God or some type of element of God into the show, and I think it was Paramount time or CBS or whoever had it, which I guess Paramount is CBS, kept shooting him down. And so then the fact that Shatner was able to do it here, apparently put not a big rift or a bigger rift, but apparently Roddenberry was like, yeah, fuck these movies. Fuck Shatner. Kind of thing. So
I mean, it's interesting because like
it could be
I
wrong.
don't think I'd want it to be like the main focus, but it is interesting that like it isn't ever really brought up. They really just stay more on the political side of stuff and not in the like mythology side of it.
Yeah.
Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, mythology's right.
Well, and yeah, because they wanted. I mean, Roddenberry's original concept was always a science fiction, premise. And when you start bringing in gods and deities, like it becomes more religious and
Right, science fantasy.
Yeah. Which you go into science fantasy, you become Star Wars.
Right.
So he wanted to keep it fiction, science fiction as much as possible.
Yeah, I think that's inherently why it makes the series comes off boring to me a lot of the times. Is I have very much figured out I need like some type of fantasy or like sorcery or something magical, even in the most science fiction like settings, because it kind of allows more freedom in the things that they're making. Even if it's just like somebody's like belief system being like a religion of like where their god is is represented, or there's magic.
Are you talking about the orcs from 40K?
Oh, fucking! I love orcs, dude. Yo,
I mean, honestly, like I just last month I was actually going to open the show with this because I thought I liked it better, but like I just finished watching the Orville, and that show is freaking amazing. It's Seth MacFarlane's Star Trek, basically.
It's very good.
But it went from like being a Star Trek dramatic to
comedy
to be a more dramatic. Like
Yeah,
actually,
they awkwardly
really-
hit on like really
That-
like serious stuff.
dude, the last season, the final season on Hulu, like has a lot of like serious points on it, which was
Yeah.
awesome. Like it's a
Shit,
great,
I guess I'm
great
gonna have
show.
to finish watching that then.
I went deep. Like I read the comics. There's a novelization. I read that. So yeah, that was fun.
I mean, it's like Seth MacFarlane of all people. Like, I would not expect him to care. And I mean, you look at like American Dad and you look at Family Guy, and you're just like, yeah, this dude does not seem like he would give a shit about the things that he wants to talk about. But maybe he made the Orville so he could do commentary on those things. Because like they
It
talk about
definitely
like
felt that way, man.
gender, like transgender rights. They talk
Yeah.
about like technology advancements and like
Well, you know, you got
capitalism
the racism
and
with
racism too. Yeah,
yeah, like it's yeah, dude, it's
super interesting. Yeah.
great show. I really would hope that. I mean, I don't think it's officially been canceled, but it hasn't also been renewed. So I don't know if we're going to be getting another
If
season.
I remember, I don't remember if this was before or after they did the last season, but McFarlane kind of was just like, yeah, like I don't really want to work on this project. I think he wanted to do that last season to get like the last of his stories out, and I think he's kind of done with it.
Which is fair.
But
Yeah.
I also feel like he couldn't get some of the cast to come back, so he kind of like it was I guess in the like this last season it was like a struggle for him to get some people to come back. So
Well, like this is also the final season. I know Norm Macdonald wasn't a big part of the show, but his character showed up from time to time.
yeah,
And he passed away. So
I like it's one of those things. It's like all these like really serious moments and stuff. You're like, did the Family Guy dude made this? Like,
right.
but then you have Norm Macdonald's character and you go, oh right, it's the Family Guy guy. Yeah, no, this makes sense. Okay.
Oh man, it's a great show. Great show.
Yeah, it is.
Everybody,
Really
everybody go watch the Orville and don't watch Star Trek 5, in my opinion.
yeah, go watch the Orville. It takes a season. You just got to bear with it. Just get through the first season, and then
The first season had some ups and downs, yeah, but like season 2 was good. The
two and on is phenomenal.
Well, it's only 3 seasons. The third season is over on Netflix, or I'm sorry, on Hulu or Disney Plus. But even that,
and
like,
on.
But those are like hour and a half episodes, which is kind of nice. They're basically mini movies.
Yeah, they got a little bit more.
They got a budget.
Room.
You can tell.
Yeah, they definitely get a budget, especially compared to the first season, because that first season is rough on the budget.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at right now. Still in the first season because
finish it up.
It's worth it.
One of the one who played the security officer, I can't remember her name. Like she left the show because she went to go be a main over on Prodigal Son, which was that was a fun show. Really enjoyed that show too. But I only got like a season and a half, which really sucked. But anyway, I've got nothing else. Ron, you got anything else?
No. Yeah, they finally managed to correctly sing "Row, row, row your boat" at the end of the movie, which I don't understand why they didn't get it at the beginning of the movie because
Kirk didn't understand. Or not Kirk, Spock didn't understand.
But Spock is still logical enough to have understood how they were deciding on when they would open up, and he would have figured it out. He's supposed to be very smart.
Yeah.
Is he? Is he supposed to be smart? Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I guess I could be wrong.
Like, I mean, I guess it makes sense because, like, for him to participate in anything, he has to understand the reason for it, and he doesn't understand the reason of. I originally thought it was like he just didn't understand why you'd be rowing your boat gently downstream, but then it's like he doesn't understand why they would be singing this song right now. Like, why are we doing this?
I mean, that's fair.
Well,
I
didn't understand why life was but a dream. Like, life is not a dream.
Oh, yeah. Okay. What a stupid movie. Like, really? Like, just the stupidest fucking movie. Anyway.
All right. So
I hate. You're getting 2 strikes today.
nope. You said I get 1.5. That doesn't
I
work
actually
either.
said you get no strikes.
Yeah, he actually said no strikes.
I'm debating. Yeah.
right.
I still. The God stuff gets me every time. Like I'm a sucker for
Yeah, we barely even
the
talked about
characters.
God. Like he was just.
Well, you want to know why? Because it's just randomly fucking thrown in here for no reason.
Well, like okay, so like Cybok looking for God, whatever. Like that's fine. Him trying to take over the ship to go because he knows where God's at. Okay, like I still didn't get that. But then when he gets down there, and it's this prisoner basically who is like, yeah, I've been stuck on this planet for ever, and I just need your ship. And then the fact that the way that Kirk was able to convince Cybok that this is not God was by asking him who I am or like what he needs the ship for or something like that.
Yeah, what do you need to shoot for?
Yeah,
Who
what
are
do you
you
need to
to
shoot
ask me? He's
for?
like, don't you know who I am? If you're
Yeah.
a god, you should know who I am. And then
And then
Spock's like, oh yeah, God doesn't need our ship.
God should know exactly, but
you're
this
not
ominent being should know all of us.
Sock or whatever the hell the Vulcan god was.
Yeah.
But also, he was like something like to the effect of like, oh, well, God wouldn't attack people or something like that and wouldn't be angry. And there was a part of me that was just like,
have you never read the Bible?
Yeah, have you never read the Old Testament?
These guys probably not.
Yeah, but, well, you know who I think of all people would? Spock. Spock would because Spock only ever fucking does research on everything. And
Yeah.
even if it was an old dead religion at this point now, right? Like
he would have read every single Bible
everything about it
from every single religion. Yeah.
And he would have read it and goes, no, like, people of Earth believed in this religion. And not just Christianity, but in every iteration of like Earth's religion,
yeah,
it's always an angry, vengeful God.
Yeah.
Like, no, you worship me and only me, and and nobody comes before me, and if you do, I will smite you. Like, don't break my rules or you're a bad person and I get mad at you. It's interesting how they
unless you're Republican Jesus.
Right.
Yeah.
White Republican Jesus.
Yep. Alrighty.
I guess we're on to the kill count.
So
kill count.
Definitely have 2 for the kill count. Cybok and God. Then I have another 5 as a questionable because of everybody dying at the bar planet, the peaceful planet.
Oh yeah.
So
which was tattooed. Like that was literally Mos Eisley.
Yeah.
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 Well, it was actually better because they actually had a stripper dancing around.
Oh, that is true. Yeah. So Gor the God Butcher and the guy from Dune go to Mos Eisley.
I'm using that for the for when I put this episode up as the body. I'm loving that.
Nice.
Ron, make a shirt of those 2 guys going with one of them with a word bowl that just says, "So this is Star Trek."
Does it have to be? It has to be Gor and Paul.
It has to be
Paul Atreides or like
Paul Atreides,
guy from Dune. Okay.
Yeah. Walking with like a Mos Eisley like scum and villainy thing with him just saying, "So this is Star Trek." Oh, I would buy that shirt. That's a very cool shirt.
Chuck's like, how could I piss off a bunch of people all at the same time?
Yeah.
All right. What do you got for bingo, Ronald?
All right. So, pardon me. We have unexplainable science, Gwen Stacy, because I still state that, Kirk died, implied nudity, animal cruelty, misogyny, government interference, betrayal by a friend, actor plays self, hero kills, villain monologue, reformed bad guy, sexual innuendo, and a fight for control of something.
Oh.
Cool.
I feel like that's just kind of the same that we always get.
I mean, yeah.
For the most part. There are a lot of similarities, and we may have to get together and add stuff to the list or change it up, or who knows.
I mean, we regularly add stuff to the list.
We do. We
That's
actually
true.
do.
We do. Yeah.
All right, Chuck, what you got for
Spawn.
Spawn Cape?
I mean, it looks. I would say this looked about as bad as He-Man. Like with the special effects, like with God and stuff, like the floating faces and changing and stuff looked fucking terrible from what I could see on my phone.
Yeah, it didn't look any better on the big screen.
Yeah,
Actually, it might have looked better for you on the small phone that you had.
Yeah, gotta say it didn't look good on my TV screen.
I will also say that my phone was wrapped in plastic, so it was a little hard to see. I had to wrap.
That should have made it better.
So I didn't get shit all over my phone. Man, I don't know. 3 out of 26,000. Looked real bad.
That's the wrong way, Chuck.
Oh,
the worse it is, the closer the numbers are.
Oh, fuck, you're right.
3 out of 26.
Yo, yeah, 3 out of 26. My brain is just fucking oatmeal, dude. Like, I haven't been able to put one logical thought together today.
Been there.
Uh-huh.
Alrighty. So, not a Muppet.
My vote for not a Muppet on this one was actually Bones.
Okay.
Because first off, watching him pull the plug on his Muppet dad would have been funny. But also just him like absolutely racially bashing this little Muppet Spock would also be quite humorous because, boomer humor.
Okay. I like God not being a Muppet so that a Muppet Klingon bird of prey can destroy him. Also, he's trying to basically shoot lightning at a Muppet Kirk.
I do love that. I do like the idea of a Muppet Kirk. Shit. I would say Spock. So we get to watch him Vulcan death grip a Muppet horse.
All right.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Oh man.
Alrighty.
Although, oh man, human Kirk. So it's Muppet Spock saving him and like holding him by his leg.
What if the only Muppet
I
was
like that one too.
Uhura, and then all those guys are chasing after this Muppet doing a sexy dance?
Okay.
I mean, that's literally just Miss Piggy.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
That's rude also.
No, that's literally what happens to Miss Piggy all the time. She'll do some sexy dance and all the guys are like, ooh.
Which never made any sense.
Right? I don't know.
Yeah. Miss Piggy was hot though.
Look, it's not that. It's that as soon as she started talking, I'd have been like, and I'm out.
Well documented on the show that everyone knows I think Miss Piggy was hot.
That is true. You've mentioned it a few different times.
You've mentioned that quite a few times.
Yeah, it explains my choice.
One might say an uncomfortably amount of times.
All right.
I like what I like, Ron. I like what I like, Ron. Okay?
You know what? And I'm happy for you for that.
I like shapely, full-figured Muppet women. What's wrong with that?
All right. No, okay. As long as, that's fine.
So let's go ahead and finish up before Ron is completely in the dark.
Oh, wow. It is kind of getting dark over here.
Yeah, for the last 15 minutes, I'm like, I wonder if I should text him to have him turn on a light or something. But I didn't, and I probably should have. So I do have a score from Chris. I don't know if you guys want me to say that or not.
Sure, let's get
work it.
I mean, even though he didn't show up for the show,
but he did say I did bring up some of his remarks.
That's true. You did.
He was kind of in the show.
We'll accept his score, I suppose.
So he gave it out of 10. He gave a score of 2.45.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
After giving the last one a 6, he gave this one a 2.45.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Did you not read? Did you not hear what I said?
I heard what he said, but I'm not sure that he watched the movie recently.
Oh no, he didn't.
Yeah, the bum. Sorry, Chuck. Your best friend's a bum. Didn't even come on the show, watch the movie.
Some would argue that he was a coward, Joe. I get that. But I wouldn't say that because I respect Chris as a human,
Well,
and a man, and a father, and a podcaster. You know, he is my boss. You know.
what'd you score, Chuck?
My score, man. All right, is this a Star Trek movie? Yeah, it was terrible, like the rest of them. Um, I didn't hate this. I thought that this movie was aggressively mediocre. They tried to do a lot, and as per usual, it falls flat. They were trying to do too much, but the humor in it was better. The like doing at least something different. Although Chris is right, this is essentially just a rehashing of the first and second movie. Bad guy comes in, and there's also this floating entity that we think is God, but it's not, but it is, or whatever.
George Takei has come out and said that the script, when he read it, it felt like they had three promising storylines that they shoved together into one movie.
It was
And
like
you can kind of see that.
yeah, they had 3 episodes of the TV show that they wanted to put together, and they just said, "Fuck it, let's just make a movie out of it."
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. The story, like, yeah, you could have picked one of these 3 stories. Or you know what? You could have done one of 2 stories. You could have either had crazy religious dude mind controlling everybody and taking it over, and then also bringing in the Klingon, or you could have done the God with the Klingon to an extent. Like you could have done one or the other with the Klingon, and it would have been fine.
Yeah. And the Klingon stuff, because I don't remember 100%, but the Klingon stuff there at the end with Spock brokering a peace kind of sets up inadvertently things going forward for 6. So the Klingon stuff is actually important to the storyline overall.
Honestly, I think this movie would have been really interesting if they had just done the Klingon story.
You'll like 6 then, because that is fully a Klingon story.
All right, well, maybe we'll see. The only thing I like about this movie, I am kind of a sucker for like people meeting God and it being what it is. I'm gonna say, yeah, all right, 2.03, I think is what I had in my brain. I'm not going to give you a strike, Joey, because I still like this better than all the others. But
you sure about that? Because you gave 4 a 3.81.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but I always look at these in a nutshell. I think I liked 4 better than this one, but I had more fun with this than anything.
Yeah. So wouldn't you?
I mean, 4 had whales.
4 did have whales.
Yeah, that Kirk wanted to fuck. So I got that going for it. I don't like any of these.
That's fair.
I've hated all of these.
Okay. You know what? What about Janero Continuum?
You know what? I'll say this. I didn't hate it, so I just feel indifferent about this movie, and that's why it's a 2.03.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. No, I'm not putting this on and making fun of it with my friends. I'm never watching this again, and I'm not gonna subjugate them to this.
Yeah.
You know who I would never make watch this? Chris, my best friend.
Well,
I would never
watch it anyways.
Right, but I wouldn't even put him in the position where he would have to. You know, and then when the cameras aren't rolling, call him a coward, Joe.
Sure.
You know?
Appreciate that. Ron, what you got?
All right. So, like I said, I watched this movie and I thought of it as a comedy. It made it so much better. I liked it better than I've liked any of the ones we've watched before this. There's not much of a plot. There's not much, I would never watch this again. It was still bad. But it was still better than everything else that we've seen up to this point for Star Trek. And I gave it a 3.87, which is the highest score I've given any Star Trek movie so far. And it still hasn't passed a 4. So that's pathetic.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Joey, what'd you give it?
Yeah, I didn't like this movie personally. Obviously, you guys know that. I've already said it. I definitely felt like there really wasn't a story here, or maybe because they had so many together, there wasn't a standout story that made sense. I don't know. I mean, acting was fine. Like, I didn't hate. I mean, McCoy was maybe a little over the top in the beginning at the campsite, but like the rest of the movie was okay for him. But not like it's whatever movie. It's first time watching it all the way through. Finally, it'll be the last time watching it all the way through because I'm never gonna see this movie again. Yeah, I gave it a 2.36. It was not good. I did not like it. Which gives us a combined score with Chris's score, a 2.68. Which
honestly
it's
kind
the
of
only
high.
time one of these Star Trek movies has actually gotten a score it deserves. Oh,
well, no, the first one got a 2.35.
oh I guess that's true.
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of high. I expect this to be in the ones the way you guys were talking about it.
Well, there's some good part, like I said, it's not. Maybe because it's the first time I've actually seen it all the way through. I don't know. Like there's some decent things in this, but I also put this up against my other list of actual movies that we've already scored, and I'm like, well, I definitely would watch it over this. I'd watch it over this. I definitely want to watch it over this, and that's basically my cutoff. I gotta figure out what's going on between there.
See, I specifically just checked my other Star Trek scores to make sure I scored it higher than them, and then I didn't worry about it past that.
Yeah, that's probably smarter. So I should also probably have mentioned that this is our 150th episode.
Dang.
So 150 out of 150 movies, this drops in at number 135.
Yeah, that's about accurate.
Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, it's just behind Supergirl with a 2.75 and just above Captain America from 1979 at a 2.5.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
So yeah.
I just watched it on the cutscene channel, I think. Ollie Davis and Luke Owen from Russell Talk go over. They're trying to determine like what's the worst movie of all time, kind of, and they're running through some DC stuff right now, and they're covering, or they did just cover Superman 4: Quest for Peace,
Mm-hmm.
and going over it and stuff, and
I mean, that definitely wasn't great. We have a combined score of 1.6 for this.
Yeah, that makes sense. I want to send you the clip of them talking about good friend of the show and of you, Zack Snyder. I should send that to you because their feelings about Zack Snyder and how he directed Superman was very interesting. So
I actually just I was at the arcade comic shop the other day, and
Zack Snyder, holy shit!
Yep, with Zack Snyder, and one of the employees. I don't know. I'm pretty sure she was probably an employee. Basically, I brought up that I had Zack Snyder on the podcast, and she's like, "Yeah, I watched the movies. I think he's a great director."
Damn,
but I did not like
in the fucking comic store,
dude. Wow. I had to. But she also said, like, you know, I didn't like what he did with his Superman, specifically Jonathan Kent. And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna like chastise you for your opinion or anything. Like, it's your opinion. Like, I disagree. I really enjoyed it, but like, yeah,
don't start your car tonight. But yeah, like, I have to respect it. It's fine.
No, I didn't say any of that.
Did you give her a card for the show?
No, because I didn't have anything on me. Because I wasn't planning on going over there, and I'm like, I got time.
You don't just carry them around with you all the time?
So I am getting some new cards in here shortly. So I'm gonna try and have some stuff on me constantly.
Nice.
Mainly for when I go to conventions, and I can be like, hey, here's my email address, and here's how to contact me, there you go.
See, I do the same thing, except I put your email address on it too.
Yeah, but my handwriting sucks. I hate having to write it. So
That's true. I have
now
way
I don't have
better
to anymore.
handwriting than you.
But yeah. So 150 episodes, guys.
Yeah, look at us go.
I know, Ron, you've been here for all of them. Chuck, you've been here for
Most of
two
them.
I came in at Batman 66, and I was here for Howard the Duck,
Yeah.
and I
I
came
think
back for.
I'd have to
the
check the
Batmans.
list, but like, yeah, like regularly, I think Batman is where you like, or maybe it was the Conan.
Batman, Conan, Toxic Avenger, like all that stuff. Chuck was there for.
Yeah, but like they were around. They were around sort of the same time, and that's when you jumped in.
Yeah, and then you just kept telling me what movie to watch, and I just kept coming back.
Yeah, and I greatly
Yeah, you
appreciate
didn't
it.
actually. Yeah, but you didn't actually ask me to be on the show. I was just like, oh, okay, well, I'll watch that and be back next week, and then
Feel
it's
like
just
I
stayed.
did.
No, I've just been doing.
Like, hey,
I've just
you
been
are
doing this.
our host.
I vaguely recall Joey getting down on one knee and saying, "Chuck, will you
Please
stay up?"
save this show. Please help us get ones of downloads.
Look,
That's
there's
all
a
we have.
reason why when we did not Rose Edition, what was that one you and I did, Ron? The History of Violence.
Oh, history of violence. Yeah.
Why that episode was not great. You weren't on it.
I was dying a death from
You were.
neurovirus.
Whatever
not
kind
great.
of excuse you got to make up, Bub, it's fine. We don't hold you accountable for it. It's okay. What are you playing?
WWE 2K, my GM mode. I'm online with
I
somebody
keep
right
seeing
now.
flashes on your ceiling.
Yeah, it's the TV.
All right, let's go. Chuck, where can they find you?
Hey,
You've already checked out.
dude, you made me watch this fucking movie, man. Like I was already checked out. You
In
can
Chuck's
find
defense,
me.
this is a checkout weekend, man.
Yo, my brain is fucking
That's
done.
fair. That's fair.
It's so done. You can find me on the internet, kicked out of the hood, no being kicked. You can find my hobby page where I am putting together War Machine. It's back, baby. Here it is. I got the new set. This is the Sagnar Gravediggers. Super excited about that. I'll be painting these up. Check that out. Kicked out of the hobby, no Ian kicked. And lastly, you can find me at the end of the month. Every last Sunday of the month. Well, I said every Sunday of the month. Every last Sunday of the month, Joey and I do a little something we like to call getting franchised. The latest and greatest in movie franchises. We're doing season 1, which is all horror movies.
Horror corner.
The horror corner. As it stands right now, we are.
This one,
My Bloody Valentine would have just come out.
No, I think My Bloody Valentine was June.
It'll be next week, I think, or next month, right?
Shit. When did we record that one?
December.
No. So it's either My Bloody Valentine or The Dead. Dawn of the Dead.
It might be Dawn of the Dead.
It might be Dawn of the Dead.
No, it might actually be My Bloody Valentine. I think we did that one. That one might be May.
It's
and then
gonna be May.
Well, okay, I could tell you this. At time of release, when we recorded, Candyman just came out, and I said the following month would be My Bloody Valentine with Ron. So
there we go. Then yeah. That's
so
My Bloody
wherever-
Valentine.
Okay, it is My Bloody
Why
Valentine.
didn't you point that out? Look, just because I edit it and actually upload the episode doesn't mean I actually listen to the shit.
Yeah, it's super fair. You can tell in the editing.
I actually
Oh,
hold
damn.
on. I actually did edit that because there were
You had to because there was
long
bad
dead spaces, and I'm like,
yeah, there was because that was
what?
when we figured out that my internet was garbage.
yes.
Yeah.
Dude, this was editing these episodes because we record so early. Not only getting franchised, but rundown reviews. Editing all these stuff and like realizing when either Ron got my laptop or you switched from your
Computer to my
your
phone.
it actually is better.
It's making your editing time. Yeah.
A lot easier.
Fix it in pre. Anyway, real quick if I can. So I work with Gen Z kids, like I teach and stuff. There is now a generation that has never had Sixth Sense spoiled for them. They have never heard of the movie. They don't know the twist at the end.
You mean that he's a ghost the whole time?
Yeah, that like he's dead the whole time. So I told and the funny thing is my intern at work was like, I love like big plot twist movies,
Ooh.
especially thrillers. And I was like, oh, so you like M. Night Shyamalan? And she was like, I don't know who that is. And I was like, you love plot twist movies and you don't know who M. Night is? And she's like, no. I was like, oh, well, you've seen this. Yeah, like you've seen Sixth Sense. She's like, I don't know what that is. I was like, you don't know the Sixth Sense? So I told her to watch it. She just texted me. He was fucking dead the whole time. To live in a world where that's not ruined for you,
dude,
is
that's
fucking
amazing.
awesome. That is so cool. Yeah. Oh, that is so cool.
Man. Like Sixth Sense, Signs, Unbreakable, those movies were great back in the day.
Yeah.
Which Unbreakable is on our list. So we'll watch that at some point.
Yo, I hope we watch all three because I think Split
is
one of the best movies.
I haven't seen Split or Glass, so I'm actually looking forward to watching those.
Glass isn't great, but
is Split the one with
James McAvoy?
Yeah.
I
Professor
really
X.
like
I've
that.
seen that one.
Yeah, it's very good.
I didn't know that it was part of a series.
And I think
that was the twist. That was the twist at the end.
Because at the very end, you see Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand why Bruce Willis was in there, is what I'm saying, because I've never seen Unbreakable.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was kind of one of the first times where like the twist doesn't make sense unless you've seen the thing that it's supposed to. The twist was this was a sequel. That's like what it was. Pretty much.
Anyway. Yeah, get it franchise. So My Bloody Valentine is this month. Yeah.
Pretty excited about it. We do love to have Ron on.
Yeah.
Getting franchise. Ron, do you want to watch what we'll be recording in the month of May, which is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and
Did you guys figure out when you're gonna do it?
Popeye the Slayer Man? No, not yet. I had to wait for my production schedule to
let me know when you do it, because that would be fun. As long as I've got the time to do it. We figured out earlier today that May is a fairly busy month for all of us. So
yeah, well, busy Sundays, but
all right, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We can do it during the week probably.
We got time.
We have plenty of time.
Ronald, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Good at This Game. You can find my art on Instagram at Good Art This Game, and also on our shirts on Redbubble and TeePublic. Yeah, I said that right. And probably some other places. There used to be a bar in town where you could find my art, but then they repainted all the walls, so that's no fun.
Really? What bar?
The Brass Rail. Like everybody used to go in there and just draw on the wall or whatever, Yeah. They went through and repainted everything, and now you're gonna have to go back in and redo the shit. It's ridiculous, right?
Not a couple more of our stickers on there. You guys can find me on the show is on social media, Comic Book Rundown. You can email us comicbookrundown@gmail.com. You can rate and review us on your podcasting app of choice. We've also have a YouTube, so if you want to watch us on the YouTubes, you can. I'm actually going to check to see if we have any more. Nope, nothing more on the YouTubes. So, Ron, like Ron said, we've got merch over at Redbubble and TeePublic. And our song was done by Cam.
Father Doctor, formerly known as Cam.
There we go. Sure, we'll go with that. So our next movie is not a movie. We are going to be doing something special. If I can get it done, we'll go over some of the multiple actors we've seen, or the same actors we've seen in multiple movies. Otherwise, maybe it was just going to be having us kind of getting together and kind of just talk about some of our favorite movies that we've watched over these last 150. Can't hear you. You're muted. There we go.
Yeah, the last 50.
Last 100 for you. 50 maybe. Yeah.
Well, because we already covered. I would like to see where
Well-
these 50 land on the big list.
Yes,
Altogether.
but do we want? I mean, do we want to make it a full rundown ranking? Because I can wait until 200 for that.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah. So like, just kind of talk about some of the ones that we've liked to watch. But essentially, I'm going to try and get
essentially a little more micro focused chitty chats. We haven't had a chitty chats in forever.
That's true.
Good point. It has been a while for a chitty chats.
Yeah, we love that.
I mean,
I could use the
hell, I
break
did it for
from
a
not
while.
having them watching movies for a week.
I figured. I kind of figured. So
I've watched more movies in like for this show than I have in my entire lifetime.
You're welcome. We're expanding your horizons.
yes.
I
don't know
wouldn't go
if that's a
that.
good thing.
I
We're
wouldn't
grabbing-
go that far.
We are grabbing the cheeks of your movie experience and spreading them.
That's
All right,
fucking
I'm ending
weird
it
and
right
gross.
there. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. We'll catch you next time. God damn it.
Spread your cheeks and Scooby Doo.